Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Super pumped to have you here. So today I want to talk a little bit about Fetty Potter's fall when he broke his jaw. And I just happened to be at the Braille house at that time, for better or for worse, and I want to give you guys a little bit of the behind the scenes, except I didn't actually video anything because out of respect, when somebody's hurt, you don't really want to pull your camera out and film them. And also because it was completely silent at the time. But if you're, filming somebody and then they fall, I'll give you a pass. So, as a lot of people know, there has been some pretty gnarly falls on Braille. This one, though, as it relates to Fetty Potter, probably did the most damage overall. I can't think of another fall that took a skater out like that. And I know Carlos has some pretty gnarly falls when he hit the dumpster and when he came down the Braille drop, but maybe Vinny Baum when he hit his head, that one was also extremely bad. But as far as damage, I think this fall where Fetty Potter breaks his jaw was the worst. So, like I said, I happened to be at the Braille house at the time of this happening, and I really got to see the chemistry between all the Braille guys. So, from my point of view, this is what happened. I was having a skate sesh, and I saw that Gabe and Fetty were filming something in the mini ramp. I guess that it was a persistence. I think I ended up being right, but they had the ladder set up because there's two main rooms to the Braille house outside of the office area. But there's the room that had the original vert wall in it, in the mini ramp, at the tool bench, and then there's the rest of the skate park. So I was in the big part of the skate park, and they had a ladder set up just to let everybody know that, hey, we're filming something in here, and that was cool and all. So I had seen Fetty; he was trying something in the mini ramp, and I saw him fall a couple times. So I have my water bottle right by the entrance to the office, and I had my chair there so I could look in. So as I was skating, I was taking a break, and I go and I sit down in that chair, and I'm drinking water, and that's when I see Fetty fall again. And like I said, he'd fallen many times before, so this one I didn't think was a big deal until I saw Gabe's reaction. And obviously he's behind the camera, so you don't see his reaction, but what happens next is, extremely strange. So Fetty jumps up and he runs right past the ladder and past me, and you could see me sitting right there. I'm just drinking water, and there's actually some funny comments about that. But my reaction, I'm just kind of shocked, and Gabe's got the camera on me, so that was pretty wild. But the fact that he got up like that and ran, and he might have been going to the bathroom, and I was possibly blocking the door, so he ran to the center of the park, or maybe I don't know where he was, or where Fetty was running to, but he goes down and he sits down, and then the camera's cut. And that's where a lot of interesting things happen when the cameras come back on. Obviously, he's got his shirt off for a couple reasons, which I'll get into also. But what had happened when the cameras cut? It was silent, just like they showed, but there was a lot of blood, and maybe that's why they cut the cameras. But there was something about that fall that it made the whole place quiet, and I want to explain that, like I said, Braille has some incredibly bad falls, and Carlos, he gets up from them, even though you can tell he's hurt. He still gets up because he's an absolute trooper. This wasn't the case. Fetty, he went down and he sat down for a reason. Maybe his equilibrium was off, but he couldn't get up because he had taken a lot of damage. And that's where I say the chemistry between all the Braille guys, you really got to see it firsthand. And I'd like to say they are as genuine as they are on camera when you see them. So Nigel immediately, asks him questions. Are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? And Fetty's responsive, and you can see me again. I'm just kind of standing in the background, and they're like, all right, we're taking you to the hospital. And that's when the cameras come in, right when he's saying that, I think. But you really saw the concern that Carlos and Nigel had, for their teammate. And at this point, I also got a little bit of insight to the kind of guy Aaron Cairo is, because I go back the next day and Fetty is also there. This was before he got his jaw wired shut. And, you know, he had some painkillers that he got from the hospital or whatever. And, you know, I was talking to him and he says, yeah, Aaron Cairo, he gave me the month off, you know, I really hope I'm okay. And I'm just thinking like, that's super cool, you know, Aaron Cairo, respect for that. And I also got to say respect to Nigel and Carlos, because they're now a skater down at the time, and they were going to be taking on, you know, they still pump out videos every day. So being a skater down, they're going to have to pick up the pace and record more. So props to them for that, and props to Aaron Cairo. But another thing that I want to state is, as far as head injuries go, it probably was the worst one at Braille. And actually, come to think about it, something kind of funny I just noticed is the Thrasher magazine that came in today actually has an article of, so you hit your head, and it's a skater's guide if you hit your head. And they have this picture right here in case you didn't know what it looks like when you hit your head. So that's what it looks like when you hit your head. But as far as falls go, guys, you know, everybody skate within your ability, and you know, falls happen. They're just a thing of skateboarding. And I could have pulled my phone out and recorded some more behind the scenes, but that just wouldn't be cool of me to do. And yeah, mad props to all the Braille guys for being able to pull together, because an injury like that, it's scary. And you know, Fetty getting up, I'm surprised he did until he couldn't, and it just goes to show how tough, you know, some of these guys are, especially Carlos, from getting up from some of his falls, you know, and acting like it doesn't hurt, but it really hurts a lot. You know, they put skateboarders, they just kind of put their bodies on the line a lot of the time. So respect to that, and stay safe. Obviously, you're skateboarding, things like this do and they can happen. Yeah, so I was able to see firsthand the concern from Nigel and Carlos, along with everybody else at the park. And this wasn't just for show on video. All these guys care about each other, and they don't want to see each other get hurt. And I think Fetty took his shirt off. Either it was a response thing, because you know, he was feeling kind of claustrophobic and he took his shirt off, or it could have been for the blood. Maybe he had trouble breathing in that moment. You know, there's a lot of reasons, but there was a lot more blood than actually shown on the video. And that could be why they cut it at that spot, and it comes back in a little bit later. But yeah, it was not good at all. He was bleeding from his mouth, and he ended up getting stitches, and it was absolutely kind of horrifying to see in person. You never want to see a fall like that. So the last thing I want to touch on in this video is the fact that the Braille guys, you know, they get millions of views and they're seen by a lot of people, and you know, they're a lot of people's idols, but they are human just like everybody else. In these falls, you really hate to see it happen. You know, falls happen, and when you see somebody that you feel like you know on camera and you see them go down, you really do feel for them, whether that be Vinny Bond, Fetty, Carlos. So let's get on to some good news. So Carlos Lastra, I saw on a few people's Instagram stories, he is at Braille House 2.0, and I think I saw him in Mowgli playing a game of skate. So he will be back for a couple of videos, which is super awesome. You know, I like watching Carlos Lastra skate. He's obviously a phenomenal skater, and they've got some new talent there, so it's going to be cool to see them skate, and him just skating Braille House 2.0 all together. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for the support. This video was pretty crazy, and seeing that happen in person is pretty crazy. You never like to see falls like that, and it was probably to this date the craziest fall I've ever seen in person. So yeah, you know, everybody's okay now, which is good. But thank you guys again for the support. It means so much. And if you like this content, leave a like. I'll have my Instagram linked down below in the description. We do a lot of giveaways on there. And feel free to subscribe and share. Thank you so much, guys. Have an awesome day. Keep killing it and stay safe while skateboarding.